So welcome to the Success Blueprint. We're here with Chris Bowers today. We're excited that he's here with us. He's actually carved out some time while he's on vacation, which we really appreciate. Chris has 20 years of experience in real estate. He's built a pretty impressive career helping clients and realtors succeed. He's mastered the art of generating referrals. He did that pretty early on, which is pretty awesome. And today, Chris owns quite a few rental properties. He's built up quite the business there in Phoenix. And in addition, let's see, it says Chris leads a growing network of 164 agents, which is awesome. 164 already. Is that where you're at right now?
Yeah, it's 164 now. It's pretty cool.
Okay.
It's fun. That's probably the funnest project at the moment.
That's awesome. So, and your wife, Britney, is also in real estate as well.
Yeah, Brittany's been selling real estate. She's been in the business with me probably like 6 years now. But for the first 14, it was, we've actually been together the whole time I've been in real estate for the last 20 years. But for the first 14 of them, she wasn't a realtor. Still was doing behind the scenes stuff because she's always been smarter than me, always will be. But she's always been doing behind the scenes stuff, like keeping stuff together for me. Yeah. But it was 6 years ago. Yeah, when she was like, I was just like, you're way too skilled to be doing what you're doing. I'm gonna have to have somebody come into the office and take over. So why wouldn't we just have you do it? And we talked about it. We knew going into it that there was gonna be. My parents, growing up, had a big company that they owned together, and I always saw this dynamic of building a business while being married, and it was very interesting that I saw. So really? I realized clearly before we started we got to have some. We got to lay some ground rules on how this is going to take place. And, but yeah, it's been super rewarding for her to be in the business with us.
So Chris, what got you into real estate? What started the madness?
Dude, I was 22 when I got into the business, and I had owned a skate shop in high school. And so my parents, from 16 to 19, my parents bought me a skate shop. Which was a really cool thing to have in high school. And then I got out of that, retail sucked. And then I went to work for my parents' roofing business. They have a very big roofing business in Arizona. They roof a lot of the new build construction. So they're equipped to actually do this at scale. I went and worked for them. As that sounds glamorous to work for your parents' a really big company that wasn't in the office. I actually roofed houses. My dad wouldn't really give me anything like that. So it was going to work from the ground up. Anyways, after 3 years of loading tile, I was the guy stacking the tile. There's 3 things when you're roofing. It's lay the felt in Arizona, it's stack the tile, then someone lays the tile. I was the stock the tile. That's no smarts. That's just who wants to break their back. I was that guy. And after 2 years, I would see these people in the company that were in their 40s and 50s, and no disrespect. I was just man, I don't even know if my back can make it this long. And so I asked my mom what I should do. And I was I want to make good money, but I'm not equipped for school. My brain just didn't operate like that. She's you should be a UPS driver or a realtor. And I still to this day, we laugh about that because outside of maybe driving a lot at the beginning of your real estate career and showing homes, I don't know how those correlate, but went and took the test, man. And it's just been, real estate's been the most it's been the coolest 20-year career. Just from, if anybody ever wanted to figure out how to grow up from 22 to 41, it was just a cool space. Business challenges you. Entrepreneurship's so hard at sometimes. It's so rewarding in other ways. And so, yeah, man, that's at 22. It was go be a UPS driver or be a realtor. I took the test and here we are.
We have a similar path. I started when I was 21 and now I'm 41 and it's similar thing. I did real estate because it took 2 weeks instead of it was a 2-week degree is what I call it. And so anyway,
it just and it's been so I look back now. I feel as I'm talking, it sounds weird because I'm starting to talk like I'm getting old, and I don't know. I don't think there's a lot of people, Morgan, that can say they've been in the business for 20 years and then also say they're 41. Is that fair to say?
Yep.
Most people who are I've been doing this for 20 years, most realtors usually get in my opinion, that I see later in life.
And they're 65.
And so if they say they've been doing it for 20 years, they're 65. Yeah, it's we're in an interesting spot where we can say 20 years and still say 41. And I'm just it's been the most rewarding business ever. I always think back of kind of the butterfly effect of what if different decisions were made at that age and how like my life would be so much different. So like it's probably why I give so much back to the real estate industry, is just because I see this younger version of me that, was just seeking somewhere to belong and like get this creative outlet that I had, like school didn't quite understand. So they wanted to put me in a box. And then so like real estate just accepted it. So I'm always thankful for it. God had a plan. I'm thankful.
One of the things that's fun that definitely I feel old when I talk to people about it is when we used to show homes with MapQuest and you'd print off like the directions and we didn't. And then when my wife got me a Garmin for Christmas, it was like the coolest gift ever. And so,
dude, those Garmins.
So anyway, so Chris, your business now, the two things that I definitely want to touch on is one, your recruiting and your big model and your business there. And you've really, I think we came into EXP similar at the same time. But you started, I remember with you recruiting, I remember you're like, I think I'm going to do this. And in my head, I was like, yeah, I've heard this, So talk to us about that, because you've took something. I mean, I was there with the idea, and I maybe I was there one of the times when that light bulb was either flickering or when it came on. But tell us about that story and how that's came about and why you love EXP and what you're doing so much.
Yeah, so I've been at EXP now like 3.5, maybe 4 years. But when I joined EXP, I had no intentions to recruit. I actually was like, hey guys, like this isn't going to be my jam. I joined EXP for other reasons, because like I had a business that was doing well. I mean, I'd sold like 135 homes that year when I was being recruited. I needed better leverage models, and the person I joined up with at EXP had those models. So I was like, hey, I'm just going to join up with that company and he's going to help me out, right? So like I'm thankful that I went through that experience, Morgan, because like people can say like, oh, EXP is a recruiting company, whatever. But like I had no intentions to recruit. I found somebody who was running a business that I wanted to run. I decided, hey, I want to join with them. I want that person to be on my board of directors. I want to get advice from this person. And so I feel like I came in a really good way because it wasn't with the intentions to recruit. And so that's why I think it's actually growing so well, or my organization's growing so well. It's because like we're always going to stay true to like, if you look at the realtor and you figure out like, how can I genuinely truly help build this person's career and change their life? Like, what is your goal? When do you want to be there? Do you know what to do next? How can I help? And I ask those questions all the time, like, hey, where do you want to go? When do you want to be there? Do you know what to do? And how can I help? And if I can't help, then we don't need to do business together, right? But if you feel like I can help, then like enter me now into the mix. Let me be on your directors. And so as I like started like getting my business better organized the way I wanted it to, then I realized like, okay, I freed up a lot of time because that's what I wanted to do. And then I don't know if you guys are like me, but like when I get the time, I mean, I say, like, I tell my wife all the time, like, hey, when we get to this certain amount of passive income, I'm going to chill out. And then the second we get there, like, I don't chill out. Like my brain like has to go to another land of like building something again. So there was a clear point when I realized that I got my business figured out a little bit better. I got some more free time. Well, I just came off a run of buying 20 rental properties. Like those 20 rentals I bought were like 25% down. There's like nothing creative about them. And I did that over like a 2.5 period. I bought most of those properties. And so the interest rates were so low at that time that like that was just, I was buying those properties and everything was mathing out because the interest rates were making them math out. And then when I realized like there was nothing smart about what I did besides have the money to invest, I decided that I needed another challenge. Like when the interest rates went up and I couldn't invest in rental properties anymore, I decided like, well, what's my next investment journey? And that's where this led to, was like, what am I going to do to invest again? And then when I realized like how much money I had to park into rental properties, I just started looking at the math. And that's when I started looking at the rev share of EXP. And I was like, wait, like, I had a team of 14 agents and I'm like, I don't really genuinely love this part of it. Like I just didn't. Like I can make so much money just selling houses through me and having leverage around me. So I was like, I had a team of 14, I got rid of that. And then, the rental properties were harder to buy because of the interest rate. And then when I saw the EXP model and started realizing, I'm like, wait, like, and I don't want to say this in a weird way, but it's how my math was math. And I'm like, hey, like if I had to go and put like, 60,000 down on a property to get like $500-600 a month profit, I started doing the math. I'm like, wait, like if I just recruited like 2 agents that actually capped a year, it's almost equivalent to like going out and buying a rental property. And when I started thinking about like how hard it was to buy all those rental properties and then how easy it was to actually give value to recruit, that's how it all happened, man. And then like from there, I just looked at him like, I'm going to build a business model around it. Just like we wake up and it's like, go sell homes or go out and build a team. It was just, I'm going to go out and actually go recruit agents. And it's turned into, I think, 164 agents. Actually, I think 165 today. I think we got like 10 more joining in the next 7 to 10 days.
So what I think is awesome about this is, again, I kind of watch that light flicker and come on, to watch you do it. You come into companies and you see people, I guess, that are already done it, right? So it's like, that's hard to believe of like how to do it. Yeah. But anyway, watching you cultivate these relationships, grow these relationships, and bring people into even my world who I've even got to know and things like that. And I mean, I think it's fun to watch and it's inspiring to watch.
Cool. Yeah, I can relate. Like, I know, like, I mean, our buddy Kevin has like 2,200, probably more than that now, like people. And you just like, you look at that and it looks so like, props. He's put in a lot of hard work. So like he deserves everything he's got. But like you also feel a little bit disconnected. I feel like it's the same as when I tell somebody like, hey, go sell this many homes and they've sold none. They can't relate. Like you've got to find, I think. And that's why like in my organization right now, like I start connecting like people who want to join the company. Like I've had people in my organization like, hey, Chris, we're not going to have them do a 3-way Zoom with you. Like you're unrelatable to them. And I actually enjoy that they say that. They're like, hey, like this guy's been doing it for 2 years. Like I'm going to get him on a Zoom with someone who's been doing it for 4, because like they can bridge the gap a little bit closer from like 2 to 4 versus like year 2 to 20.
Sure.
And so that's what I think about it. But yeah, it is. But yeah, it's been fun.
So I love the fact that you do it through really just trying to help others, right? You're really like have that genuine, I think that's why you've done so well, is because you can feel it from you, just how excited you are about it, what it's done for you and your wife and your family. And so I think that it's just that next level of when you're genuine with someone and you're really wanting to help them hit their goals, they feel that.
Like I think you've got to bring like the passion to it, and meaning like if I had any other franchise opportunity right now, like what would my job be to do? It'd be like, have you guys ever watched like the Founders movie where like they talk about the McDonald's movie? Keaton's in it, I think. And like, he's got to go around and try to like get people to believe this idea, and then they got to invest money into it. So I look at it just like that. I'm like, I think there's not a lot of money invested to recruit. So it's not like, I mean, if you go do a McDonald's franchise or something, you got to put so much money on the line. So it's like, you're out the gate saying, I'm going to take this seriously. I'm putting a lot of money. And recruiting, like you could say you want to recruit and you don't have to put any money to start this franchise in your head. Right, so I'm like, I just look at it like that. Like I'm going to individual agents, and there's a difference clearly between somebody who wants to sell real estate. There's a difference between somebody who wants to build a team in real estate versus somebody who wants to own a brokerage. Versus like me, like I look at it like I'm a hybrid brokerage. I say like I'm not a brokerage and I'm not a team. I'd say it's a hybrid brokerage. I have a make believe name. It's called Agent Excel. It's not make believe. Like we all like it's the Agent Excel community. No one puts it on their signs. Maybe no one cares, but like it was actually made for me because I needed to be able to go to somebody. And like I said, it's a hybrid brokerage. So I needed this thing in my head where it's like, what am I recruiting to? Like, is it EXP? Is it my team? Is it me? And so I was just like, hey, like we got the Agent Excel community and we got EXP. And what I've noticed is I tell a lot of people, I'm like, I've noticed that the best agents just want to join EXP. And then like our crew is a byproduct. So, like join that company because of how it's structured. Like it's the best path to like get rich. Like you're going to sell homes at the company, recruit agents at the company. It's your best path for the next 20 years to build freedom is at this company. And so I just like, that's how I'm talking to people. And I'm like, hey, like this is the company, this is the model. And then you've got this organization, you've got Agent Excel you can plug into. We're a bunch of smart agents. You've got the next level crew you can plug into. That's my upline. You've got all these other uplines. And that's how I'm talking to people. And as you talk to some people, it's like cool because you weed a lot of people out by the direct conversation. And that's my goal. I don't like being in the unknown with people. I'd rather just ask you clear questions, get clear answers. And that might be a lot of no's, but it's just like, hey, this is what I'm trying to accomplish. Like, where do you want to go? When do you want to get there? Do you know what to do? Can I help in any way? And if I can, this is what I think you need to do in your business. This is where I think you need to go next in your business to scale it. And then this is why I think you should be at this brokerage, because you might not be seeing it from this angle, but I'm looking at your blind spots. And the next 3 to 5 years, you're going to wake up and be like, oh, I've got 6 agents at whatever brokerage you're at because you're a cool person. And just know you might not have any intentions of ever recruiting, and don't if you don't want to, but you're a good human being and a cool person, and you're going to sell a lot of real estate. People are naturally just going to come because they do it every brokerage. At least be at a model where they like give you like a homie hookup every once in a while called revenue share, so you can actually provide for your family long term.
Right. Awesome. When you talk about the blind spots, we've talked to guests on here, and we talk about sounding boards. And I don't think people realize how important, that is. Yeah. And you and we don't get to chat as much, but like Kevin and some of these guys that you can just call, Matt Chick and just be like, hey, let me just BS with you for 5 damn minutes and just break this apart and then send it back, and you do that. You get it out and you're thinking as you're talking like, oh, okay, Mal, this is starting to make sense. And then they come up with these ideas back that for some reason we just can't naturally, it doesn't click in our brain. So,
well, to me, it's like there's times where we're talking to our fellow agents, and it's kind of like the same thing with my wife and I. Like there's times where it's like, hey, like, do you need comfort or solutions? It's like anytime someone's venting, sometimes it's like, hey, do you want comfort? Like just me to agree with you and hear you out, like therapy, like just listen, or do you need like solutions? And I think that's a lot of times with our board. I call them board of directors. And I'm like, anybody in our crew is like a board of directors. I don't have to take your advice, but it's nice to call some people and get it. And I think that's the same as when people call me Morgan, like they'll call me and I'm just kind of the same thing. I'm like, hey, like, are you looking for, like, do you need a sounding board? I always like to know, like, where's my place in this conversation? Like, if you called me, I value that you called me.
Right.
It's like, where's my place? Can I start there? Like, do you need just like a sounding board right now? Like, do you just need to like talk out loud and not look crazy talking to yourself so you have me on the phone? Do you need to like, do you want any advice back, or is that going to be like too much? Like you're not in that space right now where you're looking for like blind spots, or where do you want this conversation to go? And like, I'm noticing that even with some of my friends close to me and like the network is there's times where like they're just wanting to call and just have a sounding board. Like they actually don't really even want advice. And that's cool too. Like you don't want to call somebody all the time and vent, but like we do need to have like friends in the organization that like can relate to some of our problems, because you can't always relate to all your friends and talk about your problems. Cause like my problems in real estate, like if I said that at like a dinner some nights, it would sound so arrogant. They'd be like, you made that much money and you're talking about these problems. They're still problems, but so yeah, man, like that's what I think is special, is how we can get on the phone with other agents and we just like can hear them out and care, and then also figure out how we can build from that conversation.
So shifting gears, did you have something?
No, I was just going to ask just the attitude of that, right? Of just knowing where you stand beforehand, and that way you're just going to solidify that relationship even more. So if they're wanting a sounding board, great. But if they're actually vulnerable and they want that feedback, and they're like, okay, I'm just an open slate, I need to know what I'm doing wrong because I've hit a ceiling, and they need that feedback, then you can be there for them as well. And I think that's awesome to know that going into the conversation instead of finding out later on.
And it's just like, I always look at them like direct people get direct results. And it could be the reason why there will be a lot of people that say like I'm intense. And I don't think I'm intense. I just always want to know like where are we going with this? Like, is this just going to be a lazy conversation where I'm totally fine having some days? Or like we trying to build on this conversation, which I'm cool with too. So like, even when I'm like talking to agents about joining EXP, I always am so direct. Like, hey, I want you to be at this company. It's like, what is the next best thing that I could do to make that happen? Yeah. And then like, you're not giving them any out. It's like, what they tell you, like, hey, like I'm not ever going to, cool. Or this is what needs to happen. Cool. Like, let me follow up with you then. So same with our friends, same with our family. I think like we need a lot more of that, because I'm noticing a lot is like, you see these people that they go out and they like they talk and they're like, oh, well, that relationship's not how they want it to be. And I'm like, well, did you ever set clear boundaries on like what you guys are trying to accomplish? I think a lot of people are just like skirting around the bush on what they're trying to do in life. And I think we just need to be like very much more clear. But I'm a weirdo.
So yeah, on that, like with agents and a new agent, let's talk about that, right?
Yeah.
So you're recruiting these awesome people to your crew, is what you call them, and Agent Excel. And I love the board of directors. I noted that and starred it and underlined it twice. When let's talk about advice for agents. So your business model is a little bit different right now than what like the traditional is, here. What's some advice that you'd give to a new agent that's coming in?
A new agent, I think it's always conversations. And that's where I like, if anybody does not follow Dustin Runyon, who's listed in this, follow him, because like it'll be probably as much accountability as one needs in the day. It's almost sometimes can be too heavy. I tell everyone, follow him, because it's going to get you into, it's either going to piss you off in the morning or it's going to get you producing, and either one's totally fine. I think it's conversation, man. And why I say this is because when we had the team of 14 agents, we had that Zillow Flex account in Arizona. And so we were one of the few agents that had that account. What we were noticing, man, is like we'd bring on brand new agents and they would go sell 19 homes their first year. And so it's like, why were they selling 19 homes their first year? Do I want to like say like I'm the best trainer? Like, no, I don't. So like, I don't think it was that. Do I think like we were the greatest? Nope. I was actually, when I came down and looked at it and I was honest with it, actually Brittany, my wife, figured this out and told me, thankfully. And she's like, it's because they're having the 20 conversations a day. It's just they're inbound conversations and not outbound conversations. And you get you get paid more for outbound versus inbound. Anytime you're getting an inbound call, someone's taking your commission check, because it's so simple, right? And so these agents were closing 19, 21 deals their first year because we had that account. Inbound people were calling interested, and they wanted us to help them out. But then when that account goes away and people don't have that account anymore, they've got the same agents that now can't close 19 to 21 deals. Why? Are we still the Bowers team, the greatest team and greatest training out there? Maybe. Or like, is the market the same? Yep. And so it's like, no, like we had an account that gave us inbound calls. It's like when people had REO accounts 17 years ago, were they master listing agents, or did they get the account and the leads, the business was given to them? And if the business was given to them, they were paying a big percentage or taking a lot less commission for doing that. So my thing to new agents is like, you've got to figure out like, how do you have conversations? Like when I'm talking to people and they're like, hey, I'm not selling enough homes. I'm like, have you sold any? And they're like, no. And I'm like, how many people have you talked to in the last like week? I don't know. How many people have you talked to today? None. I'm like, in what, like, let's clear this up. And like, what world would you talk to 0 people today and thought that you were closing a deal? Please tell me, like, are we living in a different land? Or like, do you believe in a totally different model than I do? And so I'm just trying to get agents to clearly understand, like, the person who contacts the most amount of people and asks them directly, do you want to buy or sell real estate, will have the biggest business. And if you can go do that yourself, you can go keep the commissions. And if you need someone to do it for you, then they're going to take some of the commissions. And so now my next thing with people is like, if you need to have conversations every day, there's only 8 ways to have conversations. And I have that broken down. It's like open houses, calling for sell by owners, expireds, knocking doors, mailers, commercials, like network, referrals. There's like 8 ways to get business. So I'm just like, dude, pick 2 ways that you're going to go out every single day and have conversations. And I'm like, you're an open house person, go have an open house every day, have conversations. If you're a knock on the door person, go knock on doors. If you want to call expireds, go call expireds. But that's just it. Like, you got to have conversations. Here's your 8 ways. Yep. And I say, like, the conversation part, we cannot change. Okay. That's the 8 ways. We can do this based on your personality. So then I say, like, what's the 2 ways that you want to pick that cause the least amount of friction based on your personality? But I phrase that very like pointed. It's like, what's the 2? I'm telling them I got to pick 2. What's the 2 ways that you want to pick to go get business that'll cause the least amount of friction? Letting them know there's still friction, but the least based on your personality, meaning I might pick a different 2 than you might pick.
Right.
Because then I let them know, like, hey, I've got Olga and my crew in Nevada right now who's crushing off YouTube, like crushing. And then I've got Ari in my crew who's crushing on expireds. And I've got Cody, who was a brand new agent when I met him, crushing on open houses. I get internet leads and referrals. So then I let them know, like, you got to talk to people. Here's your 8 ways, which 2 based on your personality. And then I give them like 7 people who do it those ways that are in our crew. And then I'm like, hey, and here's a training that each one of them have taught on those. So like awesome. Olga has an hour class in my library. Ari has an hour class. I have an hour class. So it's like, that's the funnel. Talk to people. Here's the 8 ways. Here's a class from someone I've met that does it that way that we've put together. And then I let them know, hey, here's what's going to happen. And I'm upfront with them. I say, you're going to watch these videos. And like the second you watch the open house video, it's 1 hour, you're going to come to me and you're going to say, but I want more training. And it's not that. It's the 1 hour class. And the training now is you doing the 4 open houses a week and getting knocked in the mouth and sounding stupid.
Yep. Yeah.
So it's not any more training on open houses. It's going to make you successful. If you pick open houses, it's doing the open houses and you do them and you look stupid and you get better at the conversations because you don't want to look dumb. And the dumber you stop looking, the more money you're going to make. And then that's my conversation with them. And then you actually find out that I weed out a lot of people based on my conversations, based on probably the intensity, the directness, and letting them not go any other direction. Because the second they want to bring their feelings into this, I'm like, I know, but I don't really like talking to people. I'm just like, cool. Like, this business is not meant for everybody. You are one of them. Sayonara.
Is when you do the 8 ways and they pick those, is it more of just like, what is their interest? And so then it kind of like they watch it and it's the idea is to spark their interest. And now it's like, now kind of go, mess this up and see what you can do. But you have the idea, right? Like everybody wants, like, they want to prepare and prepare and prepare, but anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just like, it's a clear, like, I love it because it's like, there's a video training on each style of getting business. And what's cool is I'm trying to find agents. What's the best part about this? I'm trying to find agents that have like only been with us a few years so that they can see, because they can they can always pull the old, like, Chris, you've been doing this for 20 years. Yeah. So like, I even try to find the Cody who does our like, I'm trying to find people who like, hey, you've only been doing it for a year or 2 and you're crushing it. And then I let them know, I'm like, hey, I got on a Zoom with that guy who's training, like the one who put together that class. I did a Zoom just like this, like with you. And I told him these same 8, and here's what he did. He picked that one. He ran with it for the last 1.5 years or 2. He's closing business from him because he's a doer and he's having the conversations through open houses. Now he's teaching the class.
Right.
So you either get to be the statistic of the guy who never sells a house, which is totally fine, or you get to be Cody, who I met just like this, who chose to go win. And we have winners and then we have losers. And he's won, and I don't know what you are. So you get to decide, but I don't put that stamp on you. You do. So what are you? And they'll tell you they're a winner, and then they get to decide by their stats.
So I loved one training that you had done, and it talked about just hitting your 20 no's every day and having your no list. And so are you still doing that, or is that something you do mainly with recruiting? Or
I can't say I track it every day, and I don't do it in production. I'll be very clear about that. I do it a lot in the recruiting space. So that's what I like about, like, when I was hanging around with Dust, I just seeing his stuff more and more, I'm like, I remember we were chatting one day before I went on stage to speak at one of his events, and we were chatting right before. And I was like, yeah, I don't really do that. I don't really do that much grind in the production space. And he's like, but dude, you're putting in the grind in the recruiting space. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, hey, it doesn't, as long as you're climbing your mountain. And what I liked about that was he was saying, like, hey, like, yeah, maybe you're not like doing that every day on the production side with these people, but like you are still waking up every day and like you're climbing that mountain. And so, yes, I might not be calling the same person as they are, like buyer or seller all the time, but I am like actively trying to engage with realtor. And so that's where I'm doing the more. I get a lot of no's in the recruiting space, not necessarily the production space.
Okay. So production space is mainly for you, your 2, it sounds like, are referrals and Sphere.
Yeah, so it's repeat and referral. I've got a playbook for that. If you guys want the link for my like a class I teach,
oh, for sure,
I've taught that probably like 60 times over the last 2.5 years. Awesome. It's like my exact playbook on how I get referrals. We get a decent amount a year, thank God. Then I get internet leads, and so I get probably about 6 to 7 internet leads that come in every day. and I always will be able to convert those whenever I want to. I actually get enough leads through my door that someone's almost always raising their hand looking for me. I don't have to like call a lot of people.
Yeah.
Now, I would never teach that model. Like if I had a team and leads were coming in, I wouldn't be like, oh, cherry pick. But I'm also self-aware of my business, and I also can. So like I pay for enough leads to come through my door that I can cherry pick the leads daily.
Sure.
I just find the ones that actually want to have a conversation.
Yep.
And then that will close me my extra deals that I want.
You're still having those conversations. It still
Yeah.
has to happen. Yeah.
So Chris,
awesome.
with your success and what you've been doing on the recruiting side, your business side, your investment side, like what pushes you? What's your goals now? Like what is it that drives you and keeps you going?
So I'm very clear on that. It's passive income. So here's how I look at this. Here's how I look at my money model is what I would call it now. Is like my money model is what do I have passively coming into my door today? And I think that's what I would tell everybody right now is like your money model, in my opinion, should be what's coming through your door monthly that you don't have to work that hard for. I don't really know if I believe in passive income, but I do believe that there's a lot better ways to leverage your money where it comes in easier. And so I have a spreadsheet called Life by Design. And so I look at most mornings, not every morning, but most mornings, I'll put in my passive, like what's coming in every single month. I know it's a pretty good number. And I'm working for that because so like let's go back. So let's go back 6, 7, 8 years ago when I started doing this. Like it's easy for people to be like, hey, Chris, you have enough passive now that takes care of you. But I'm like, well, that's not the way to look at it. It's like what you should be asking that person, like, well, what did they do 7 years ago to get there? And so where I was 7 years ago, I remember clearly waking up one day, dude, and like I told my wife, I was like, we had a few rental properties, we were making a really good living, but it was never enough to like stack, and like start throwing into investments. So like it was money coming in the business, it was money coming into my personal life. And then we were living a good life and had a little bit extra to buy that property and a little bit extra to buy that property, but cool life, buy that. Then when I woke up and I was like, wait, like I have to back in this. Like first I have to know like what number do I want passively? And then I got to know like, where am I going to go invest it?
Right.
And so like when I started doing this, it was like, I did the math and I was like, I need like 20 rental properties to be spitting off what I'd be comfortable with. And then so I started back-ending the math and I called my lender and I was like, well, how do I get these down payments, right? And then she's like, well, this is what you're gonna have to do. And I'm like, well, that's a lot of money. And then so I started backing in. So like I was working every day to like I had urgency to sell more homes because like there's some people that like they'll sell 40 homes a year, but they have a 40-year lifestyle home. Like they've got to sell 40 just to live up their lifestyle. So I was like, how many homes do I have to sell to still live my lifestyle I want? Plus have like 400,000 and 500,000 extra to invest. Because if I invest this for the next 5 or 6 years, there will finally be a day where I can wake up and say the passive is that. And so that's still to this day what I'm doing. Now the passive has gone up, and what I said, and it's funny because we're silly at younger ages, right? It's like 7 years ago, I was like, oh, I need this passively and I'm going to be good. And I got there and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm still poor, right? Like, so, you realize like rising inflation and everything around you. Like, I'm like, oh, like I need to do more.
When your
but that's
lifestyle
it, bro.
needs
Like,
it, right?
That's what drives me is like, what do I have coming in passively? Because I've noticed with life happening to people, I've seen people that get sick at a young age. I've seen people not be able to work at a young age.
Right.
And I think that we have this weird delusion that we think that like we just still have another 20 years to sell homes. And I never wanted to have that false belief that like I could just always sell homes. One, I'm always that like I'm really like a really optimistic pessimist. Like I've always thought for like 6 years the industry was going away. So I was always like, I got to get mine now before the industry goes away.
Right.
So I always had this urgency of like, how can I make cash in this industry the way I know how, make it fast enough, get it into investments, and then get that passive. But that's really what keeps me going is that, man.
Well, we know that you are on vacation in Maine. What part of Maine?
Yeah. Bar Harbor right now. So we landed in Boston, did that for a day, went to Portland, Maine. Now we're in Bar Harbor. We're at like the like coolest boutique hotel ever. It's very small. It's got a good view, but I'm down. I've got more time if you have more questions, bro. I don't want to like cut you guys short. So
Well,
If I was boring, you can just say we got to go.
no, we're good. I don't want to keep you from.
No, dude.
So I guess so. You started at 21. You're at 20. Yeah. How, and you're talking about trying to get as much as you can. Have you ever thought of when is the end for you, like as far as real estate?
Yeah. So that's like an interesting one, man. Like I just had the conversation yesterday with the person I'm here with. Obviously I'm here with my wife, but a realtor in our crew came with his wife and we were having that conversation. He's like 8-9 years younger than me, but he's like, what do you see the path being of like being able to say like you're done? And I was like, here's my thoughts, bro. I was like, it's really like, I don't see yet like letting go of like the production side. Like it like makes no sense in my world. Like we're traveling quite often and still pulling it off. So like what would be the point of letting it go? I still think there will be a day where like you still genuinely, like my parents did at a young age, like they just woke up one day and were like, we actually don't ever want to have the conversation about their business anymore. So they did let it go. Not there yet. And I don't want to be silly enough to think I won't have those thoughts. I don't now, but it's just like, it's disconnecting myself. And I don't want to say this and it sound bad, but like really all we're looking for in this is like, I just like to control my time. That's all I want in this business. Like I actually like selling real estate. When I'm home, I actually like sitting at a table and doing a listing consultation. I like helping. I like doing a buyer Zoom and talking about buying a house. I genuinely like the whole entire process of real estate still. There's still 20 vacations that need to be had that year. And so that's what I look at. I'm like, okay, well, I when I'm home, I like doing it. When I'm on vacation, I like being on vacation. It's like, how do you merge this whole thing? And so I just see, as I've gotten older or maybe more passive, I just see myself like disconnecting from certain parts of the transaction. And 5 years ago, like if someone said like, hey, I know that's your model, but like, I don't want you to do it that way, I'd make some exceptions for that person because I needed the money.
Right.
And so now what I'm realizing is I just get a little bit more, I get a little bit more like concrete in what my model is every year. Cause like now if someone's like, well, no, I want you to do that. And if like, now I'm just like certain things, I'm like, I don't do that. And so like, if you want that, like, that's not me because I can't sign up for a 60-day mission with you knowing I got 3 vacations in the 60-day mission. So like I would be doing like, it would be unfair. Right. So I don't know where it's going to go, but I just see that. But I genuinely enjoy selling real estate. I genuinely enjoy helping agents build their businesses. I love my clients. They've taken care of me for 20 years. I really like vacations. And I think Dave Jasinski and why I joined DXP and never even had any intentions of recruiting, but like he was the first person, bro, that like made me start thinking like, wow, like I always used to think I had to trade things like, oh, you're either going to take vacations and your business is going to suffer, or, you're going to have a really good business and you're never going to take vacations. And I don't know, like if it was the wrong masterminds I'm in, maybe it was just my younger age at the time. But then when I met him, I was like, he just opened my brain up to, you don't have to look at this through the lens of like every realtor. Cause I still explain my model to some people and they'll be like, oh, like, I mean, they do it all the time. Like I explain my model all the time and they're like, oh, like my clients, like they would only look at homes with me.
Oh, we get that too.
And I'm just like, oh, like totally cool. Like you're not my people. It's not gonna like exactly. That's not my brain doesn't process that. Like I think that, I can own a Costco and not have to be the guy who does the highlighter when you walk out, right? Like we can scale this thing as we go. And that's how I looked at it. But anyways, long answer.
We get that with a team, and we used to do more buyers and sellers and things like that. We don't do that anymore. But when we did, people would say, oh man, my sellers would only want to work with me. Yeah. I'm like, well, and anyway, you go into it and you're like, same thing, like what you're saying. And it depends on what you do. And I've referred my clients to agents on our team. And quite frankly, I think they do it a lot better than I do for the most part. And
dude, that's Morgan. It's kind of a, like, and I don't, like I said, I have to like preface all my statements. So I hope this doesn't sound wrong, but like, I don't come into the party thinking I'm the coolest, so like I used to like, meaning like I used to think like I check my emails the best and I have the best listing appointment. And I show the house the best. And then I just like got over myself and I'm like, wait, in what world? Like I seriously like think about it. And I tell people this, in what world do you really think that like you are the master opening of lockboxes, writing contracts, listing properties, looking at the data, doing the closings? Like what world did you think you were the best at all of that? And like, I actually think it's a control thing. It's like a control issue. And I think it's actually could be an ego thing as well. I'm very okay with saying out loud that I know a lot of really, really good realtors in Arizona. I know a lot of really, really good realtors, like probably 1,000 to 2,000 agents that I'd be like, those are the ones. Then there's 64,000 other ones. I'd be like, those aren't the ones, right? But those two, I'd be like, if you picked one of us, you're good. But I can say that so comfortably. They're like, hey, if you picked one of us, you're good. Because I don't have this like limiting belief or like scarcity mindset. I'm like, hey, pick one of us, you're solid. Pick one of them, I don't know, good luck. And so just saying that out loud, like I'm not the coolest realtor in Arizona, it just frees you up for a lot of like life that can happen. Just knowing, and it's funny too, because like I'm noticing as I'm getting into this, like deeper and deeper into this industry over 20 years, like I'm noticing some of the people who have like the most money, like the highest net worth, the most probably liquidity, the most rental properties, the most downline, like they're the people who let go a lot of things throughout the process and just were like, I got a lot of cool people around me that help me. That's what I tell my clients. Like I got a few people around me that are really good at what they do, and we are going to get you to the finish line. I don't have a lot of words that are like I'm like, we got you. We got you. We're going to get you there. Your goal's here. My business will get you across that bridge comfortably. We got you. But I think that it's that, like, if you're coming from that mindset of like, I'm not the best, I'm not the coolest, and I'm just like, I'm with the group in Arizona that we are in that room of the best,
right?
Then you just frees your mind up for a lot of other cool things that can happen in life outside of selling real estate. And there's a lot more to do than just close a deal.
I love that. I think, so how do you find those people? Like I know back in the day, I can't remember who you were with beforehand, but I know KW really preached, hey, you got to hire the right agents, you got to have the right people around you and all that. And they did so much on hiring with the KPI and everything else they did. But now I see so many agents just saying, you just never know. You just got to go through them until you find the right people. Where do you fall in that, I guess, on that
Dude,
scale?
I've taken all the like classes at KW on hiring and like that was intensive. I can't remember what it was called, but like it was intensive, like interview them for 3 weeks, meet their family, and then they might find out actually what they're getting paid on the last meeting. I'm like, I don't know. Like, that's so cool that they can do that. I couldn't. And so it was my problem, not theirs. They're great at it. I'm not. And so I know I'm just more of, like even on the few people over life that I've hired for certain things, I'm just like, ask them a few direct questions, get some references. Direct questions, get some references, let's go. I think I have a lot of experience in like, because we property managed all of our houses in-house. And so for the first few years, like I was actually the one screening tenants. And I felt like maybe I haven't hired a ton of employees in life, but I've qualified a lot of people to not destroy my assets, which is actually, I think, more important. And so I just learned a lot about just like the conversation. And it's just like, hey, like I got to go through this process with you, ask you a few questions. I got to get a few references from people that can like make sure that you're not going to cause anarchy after you're in like relationship with me. And I'm more of that, like, hey, like let's get direct, ask these questions, make a direct decision. Let's move on. And then let's be quick to like this not working out. And if it doesn't work out, I'll be quick to let them go type stuff. So, because I just think, we're just in a world anymore with ChatGPT and people like having their guard up. I'm like, people can give you people can fool you for 2 and 3 meetings. And then all of a sudden you're like, you got to work. And now it's work. And they're like, oh, I don't do that. I'm like, what? Like, so I'm just like, let's just get to the work. Like, let's just get to the work and see how you do before we talk about, like, you can say how great you are at doing the work, but like, let's just do the work and see how great you are. Like, let's just produce the art. And if you suck, then you're gone. If you're great, let's keep going.
So the funny thing about our team is we've done the extensive interviews, and when you say that, there was one girl that I did like the three-hour interviews, and we're like digging in, and her interviews were so brutal, and I couldn't get these goals out, and I wanted these big, luscious, amazing goals that she was just like, I knew she was just gonna burn the tires in the fire, and I was like, well, this is what it is. She's like, okay, yeah, I'll come work, and I thought, well, this isn't gonna go anywhere. And and she ended up being absolutely amazing and the hardest worker and obsessed with it. And then we've had people come in and they're just like, oh man, I want to find, I want to be the cure for hunger, and I want this and I want this and I want to, and then you're like, oh man, this guy's got huge goals. Like and then they come in and then they don't show up for Tuesday. And so it's like, it's the craziest thing of what you focus on. And so I agree. Like, let's just get to the work.
And that's where, like, in the recruiting space, here's what I've noticed the most is, people can say anything. And so, like, here's what happens for me. My biggest challenge I have right now with growing an organization is just time. And so, like, I'll now get like a lot of messages in the day, like, hey, Chris, can we get on a call? Can you help me with this? Can we do a Zoom? All is fair. I'm so thankful that I have that challenge is like time.
Right.
But I also have to figure out like who gets the time. And so that's the biggest challenge now, because I don't think everyone should get time equally. I hate to say that out loud, but like, that's how life works. And so I'm more into like, did you build upon the last conversation we had? That's like anymore. That's all I want is like, when we had that 10-minute meeting last time and I told you what I think you should do, like, did you build on that conversation, or are we talking about the same conversation or back steps? And if it's if it's bad, like you've gotten worse based on back steps, and like that's very bad, like less of my time. If you're still at the same spot, like I just now want to know, like, hey, like you're at the same spot we were the last time we talked. Do you need more clarification on my opinion, or do you need me to rephrase it?
Right.
Yeah.
Because I never walk into the room saying I have the right answer. I'm just saying, like, if you called me and you thought I did have the answer and this was my answer, and then you thought like I'm going to call you back, that means you are saying like, I do think that you have the answer. So like I only talk to people like this that are allowing me to. Please know, anybody listening to this, like I don't just walk around. Like I'm not going to walk to my neighbor here in Maine and just ask him these questions. Like that would actually be very rude. But I'm like, if someone called me and said, this is the question, and I gave them the answer, and then they call me back, that's when I'm like, okay, we're in agreement that we're going to do this, right? And so I just want to know, like, did we take back steps? Are we at the same spot? We need clarification on what we need to do next, or do I need to rephrase this? Or did you get ahead? And like, those are the ones where I'm noticing, like the ones where like every time they call me, they're ahead. Those are like the ones where I'm just like picking up the phone. And I'm like, man, like that's what, when I say building season, that's like, I'm in flow state. Like that might actually been a 2-hour call, but it felt like 10 minutes. Yeah. And then you get someone else that wants to talk about the same thing that they've been talking about for the last 5 years. I'm like, your 10-minute conversation felt like 5 hours. So it's never even about like the time. It's about like, not time, it's how much weight did you put on the other person's shoulders, and then they don't feel like they want to take that weight anymore. And so that's how I look at every conversation in the recruiting space. Maybe that would, help anybody who's building a team or not.
Well, for sure, with the burnout, when you say that, you know what I mean? You sometimes you have the same conversations over and over and over.
I won't allow it to happen anymore, dude. Like I don't, and I mean, maybe I do, someone can call me out on that, but like I very rarely, it's why people can be like, he's very direct, he's intense. Like, dude, I am like a very, very giving person. I feel like I'm just like, I love to give to people and help them out. And I have empathy for a lot of people, but like, I am also like super direct, but I am the one that thinks like being direct with people is like a form of love. Like, I don't think we have a lot of people in our lives anymore that like you go to them and they're just like, hey, come on. Like, let's be better. Like, you know, and I'm like, that's what I want people to think of me for. And I don't think I'm just supposed to give myself that, like, but that's what I want to be known for, is like when, like I even had somebody in the crew the other day on our Zoom was like, hey, I know that when I call Chris, I've got to come prepared to the conversation, because like, he's not going to want to have what they would all call a lazy conversation. Like, I don't want emotions. Like, I want logic. I don't like if you need to eat and take a nap, go do that first. Like, let's come to the table with like really logically what's going down, like talk numbers. Let's not bring our emotions in, because I know, like, I can I can tell them like, I have this much coming in this month and it's a lot. And I still today can tell you some hours I'm not feeling the best about it. Sure. So I realize like you can actually be doing really well and still be emotionally unstable for 30 minutes. And so I just want everyone to know, like, hey, when we're talking, let's come to the table. Let's get to where we want to go. But then I'm also totally fine. Like, if we're by the pool today and we're not talking business, like I'll enter into that conversation as well and talk about everything that is not business. But
Right.
like for this specific conversation and this relationship we're having for this 20 minutes, this is business. When we're at the pool party on Saturday, we can have the fun then, but this one's very specific. But like I said, like, do you lose some friends doing that? You sure do.
When
you sure do.
So this podcast is the Success Blueprint.
Cool.
And what would you say is maybe one or two things that you could contribute to your success blueprint?
Dude, I think the number one thing that I would say is like out the gate, I understood don't sign up for debt. And so anybody in debt right now, that might be a hard conversation to hear because now you've got to get out of it. And so you need to like listen to a Dave Ramsey or someone like that and get out of it. But like anybody who's listening to this, maybe like they're like, that's where my success was, bro. Like my mom had me read like Dave Ramsey's Total Money Makeover and Robert Kiyosaki's The 4 Cash Flow Quadrants, like at 15 and 16. Like I was waiting for the bus reading those books. I was dumb as a rock in school. But I understood how to reconcile my checkbook and stuff like that. My mom always told me, like, Chris, just don't get in debt, man. Like, this isn't the way to go. It like will hold you back for the rest of your life. And I took that very seriously. And I'm like, thank God. Like, that was probably, man, like, I won't even, like, there was many years in my career, guys, where like, I just sold 20, 30 homes. Like, there was nothing groundbreaking about it. And so, but like, I always knew that like me and Britney could live, we could go buy we could have bought a nicer car, we could have bought a nicer home. And what's cool is like we did, but I always would say, and I teach people now is like skip pay raises. So like when you're making like 60,000 a year, act like you make 30, you know, just like don't take the next pay. Just like you made more, just don't act like it. Now, like when you start making 90, now act like you make 40. And then you start making 120, act like you make 48. And when you make 250, just act like you make 70. And when you make 400, act like you make 120. Like, because I've noticed if like you just skip pay raises, like if you just skip them long enough, like if you just skip 2 pay raises, then after you skip the first 2, it kind of sucks because you want to flex on the world. Like you want to let people know you're doing good. But if you just can hold emotionally stable and go for like a few years where you don't do any of that, you don't bite that off, you just stay neutral. And then what happens is once you stay neutral for like 2 or 3 pay raises, you then every year as you're making more can take them with the rest of the world. But like you skipped already enough. So like that's what I would say. Like when we bought like our very first place, I mean, we could have bought something much nicer and we just bought a little condo. And then the next house we bought was just like we could have bought something way nicer. We just bought the little house. And so I think that made life just so much easier to process when like everything wasn't focused on like paying down debt or paying for things. And we're still kind of the same way. Like we're more about like taking our money and like traveling, buying assets than we are. Like Britt has a 10-year-old car. I think I have a 10-year-old car. Like we've wanted new vehicles. Like I've wanted a new vehicle for 7 years. Like, but I'm just, we could totally afford it. But like, I've just always like, stay true to the core principles that got you to where you were and just keep that because there's so much that you can go do and say you're supposed to deserve. That's what I'm noticing, man, is like, and I go through this myself. It's like, we feel like we deserve stuff.
Right.
Like, oh, I work hard. I deserve that. And I'm just like, I mean, maybe I want it, but do I really need it? And then like when I'm 80, am I going to be glad I signed up for that? And do I really want to work forever to actually like pay for this? And I'm noticing like so many realtors and anybody in life, but I talk to realtors all day. They sign up for this debt, new car, new house, new this, new that. And I'm like, telling them like, hey, like how many hours are you having to work just to pay off that debt? Like you literally are just working to pay off debt.
Right.
Well, like now when I go to work, it's not to pay off debt. I go to work now to put more money into my investment account. And so it's just like, what's interesting is like someone could actually be making more money than me a year, but like our money model is just different from how we did it for 20 years. Like maybe they make more active income, but one's going into like all the payments every month and the cool stuff and it looks cool and it feels good.
Right.
One's parking it into things. And then what's interesting though is I've noticed it is, and there's no judgment in this, it's just what I've seen is they all get to 65 years old and then one's got to stay on that trajectory. And then all of a sudden you see one that starts flexing in a different way in their old age, like at 45 and 50, you're like, wait, like, why is that guy always traveling? And they traded it all on the back end and just live life a little bit differently. Longest answer you ever wanted for that, but I really think that like the money models have to be figured out, because I think that most people just don't understand the concept of like, don't get in debt, save your money, stop buying stupid stuff, park it somewhere, figure out where to park it. And like those people like you, Morgan, like I know you have a ton of rental properties. Like that's got to make life so much easier for you. Like waking up and just knowing that like you've got some ducats coming in the door, some dollars like you don't have to go fight for. I mean, it just makes life a little bit more easier, but like those are just people's smart decisions they made over the years. And I think in my crew right now, I talk the most about money. Like if you're in debt, let's figure out how to get out of it. And if you're not in debt, let's stack coin, because like that is truly like, I want to keep having the conversation with them. I don't care how many homes you sold. I don't care about like, I want to know at the end of the year, like how much did you save?
Right.
Like how much actually this year did you put into an investment account? Because just because you sold 50 homes and you spent 50, you spent all of it on cool stuff, like that doesn't get you anywhere.
Right.
And so that's what I'm really focused on with everybody, including myself, just focus on the money.
Delayed gratification is huge, right?
Yeah, just dude, it's hard, bro. Like I went through it for years where I wanted to just like buy cooler stuff. I mean, me and Brittany went through it like 3 years ago. I'm like, we want to get a house over in Scottsdale. We're in North Peoria and I want the house. And I'm just like, what am I doing? Like, why? Like, really, why? Like, my backyard's cool. My house is cool. My area is cool. Like, really, you know what I mean? I got one life. Do I want to stress myself out over anything? Can I get it? Yes. But I'm like, but here's the deal. Like, it's probably the same house I'm going to have. And just on my path right now, I could go get it right now and stop the whole growth of my financial life, which has been good. But like, I don't want to clog it up right now. So I'm like, I probably have that same house, just delayed gratification. I'm probably getting it in 8 more years, and I'm probably buying it straight cash with my rev share check. So it's just like, it's coming. It's just, at what point are you going to make one decision that like clogs your whole model? And is it worth it? So I always tell Britt, I'm like, do we want to clog the model over this? And there's certain times, dude, where we've made some decisions. We're like, it's going to clog it a little bit, but we'll get out of it. So we still make some silly decisions here and there. It's just, we're very intentional about that conversation.
So smart.
When you have that model, what that reminds me of is I have rules, right? So I have rules on my investing, rules on my interest, rules on these different things. And the worst thing I could ever do is go outside those rules, because every time it just bites me in the ass every time. And so, so anyway, when you say that model and clogging that, it's the same thing with like, I'm like, well, if I break these rules, or if I have to end up borrowing from this investment to subsidize that investment, then you already know that that's a bad investment. But anyway, so when you start breaking those rules, then it's just a domino effect.
Yeah, my lender called me up and I was like, I want to get more homes. And they were like, hey, you got to you package all your single family up into a commercial loan. And then it's going to, whatever, in 5 years, it's going to balloon or whatever. I'm like, I'm out. Like, I have hardcore rules, and like, if that's what I got to do right now to go buy more, like, so is getting more my goal or being secure my goal? And I was like, I want to be secure. I'm not going to get more over this just because I can. Like, chill out. So like the second they told me how to do it, I chilled out. But like, that is the conversation that I want more and more realtors to have right now, is like, figure out your money. Because what I've noticed is those that are like not having to work to pay off debt, and those that are working to actually stack more money,
right?
I'm realizing like they flow differently in the day. Like, deal falls through and there's like, like it happens. Where like the one who needs it to pay off their debt, like they're super stressed out because it's paying off their debt. The guy who's just putting another, 70,000 over into their investment account, like it still bums them out, but it doesn't like ruin their day.
Right.
And so I've noticed that like those people who are making the money to go like put it and stack it, like they just have more fun with the day. Cause like, I want to go out and close I want to go close more homes today, because like I know what this is doing, and it's not just going to pay off these silly decisions I made in the past. But I know like we went a lot on money, but I really, really, really encourage everybody, like, if you're in debt right now, have a goal of how much debt you can pay off every single day, because like that is a small habit. So like, instead of buying the $7 Starbucks, I'm being so serious. I'm helping someone, coach them right now. They're in some debt. It's a good person that I know. Like, I'm really trying to help them. And I'm like, dude, go put $7 a day right now and pay off debt. Like $7. You need to go reverse in your decisions. And it might look weird. Like, you want to make it you're trying to make it to where you have 20,000 extra and then pay off debt. And I'm like, no, this is a principle you need to learn. Like, take $20 a day, pay off debt. Don't go out on Friday night and eat at a nice restaurant. Take that 150, pay off debt. Like, these are small decisions over the next 3 years that are going to get you out of this. And so that's the biggest thing I can think right now, and where I find people that have a little bit more peace in this business is where they're at with their money model.
Absolutely love it.
Love it.
Cool.
Well, shoot,
That's
man.
awesome, man.
We're definitely going to have to have you on for another hour here in a 6 months or so.
Please do, man. I'm going to go hike. I think it's called Acadia. I'm going to go hike right now.
Oh,
so
nice.
wish me luck.
You have to give us a little shot of the ocean there, since we're a little landlocked here in Idaho.
Okay.
With your camera.
I will. It's going to be fun. So I'm going to peace out. It's really nice chat with you guys. Thank you so much for having me on the podcast. I really, it's cool that you guys asked me.
You do. And if you ever want to make it up to Yellowstone, Jackson Hole, that's where we're at. We're just about an hour and a half from those places. So
cool.
Love to host you.
Right on, guys. Nice chatting with you.
Right. Hey, thanks. See you.